up, y'all? What's goody? 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 It's your girl Zeze back with another mother-loving vid. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on my notifications bell, get us join a thumbs up, share this mug, all that. You feel me? So today's video is going to be a bit of a reaction. Okay, I was watching. Shout out to $1 Million Worth of Game. Gillie and Wellin, they brought their mothers on for Mother's Day. But I noticed something that I couldn't ignore. They both represented two types of toxic black mothers, okay? And hold up, slow your roll. I'm not calling their mothers toxic, all right? This is why I said I wanted to, I kind of just wanted to expand on that because I don't think their mothers are necessarily toxic. I'm not about to sit up here and call my mother toxic. But I did notice that they practiced some of the behaviors just from some of the things they were talking about. They practiced some of the behaviors that a lot of toxic black mothers practice, or masculine, more so, black mothers practice. And this is not to say toxic and masculine is the same thing. It's just that we have toxic behaviors and we also have masculine, and then those masculine can sometimes be toxic. Y'all know what I mean, all right? But I didn't want to react directly to it because, again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm coming for their moms. Like, it's just, we on this wave of holding black women accountable. It's not a wave. It's just the new standard, okay, that we're going by now. It's holding black women accountable, okay? So I got to use them as examples. The two types I think they represent are the enabler and the enforcer. Now, the enabler, I actually have a video on before, black women being enablers. Y'all should check that out. Wallow's mother represented the enabler. Now, a lot of the times when you see black women enabling their children, especially with their boys, they tend to like baby them, like we already have that natural nurturing aspect to us because we're women, black women at that, okay? But it becomes sort of like coddling, like you're just like, it's kind of, and it's almost like belittling as well, and emasculating, to be honest, to young black men, because you have to give them space to, to kind of puff their chest up. And like women, we can be like too soft with them. You know what I'm saying? Like we can be very soft, like especially with young boys. They go through, especially when you're talking about when they get to their teens and they hitting puberty, a lot of them go through that, buck up phase. You know what I'm saying? What they want to do, they realize that they're men and that they start to realize they can do whatever the hell they want. And that you as a woman aren't really powerful enough to stop them, especially just physically. You're not really powerful enough to stop them, so they can really do what the hell they want. And then as they learn that, if they're not guided within that phase, it can really go left quickly. Black women who enable their sons throughout their life, they see that turn for the worse usually when they hit that teen phase. It's like they want years of just saying, oh, no, he's not bad. Oh, no, he doesn't have an attitude problem. He doesn't have anger issues. He's just a little, he just gets a little irritated sometimes. Or, I didn't mean to do that. I know he doesn't like that. They make excuses, okay? They start to make excuses for the young man. And of course, on the other hand, these are children, so it's not really like it's always their fault. These are learned behaviors, but you start to excuse it to a point where you're not correcting it. And you can acknowledge that he is a little too hyper or doesn't have enough discipline or whatever the case may be, because there's a lack of a male figure, because they're your father, the father's not involved, or he may have passed, whatever the case may be. But you still have to acknowledge, okay, well, now I need to find another male figure to help correct him. Let's get an uncle involved. Let's get let's find a mentor. Let's get a close teacher. Let's, put him in some sort of class, karate class or something like that, to where he has that masculine energy to teach him that discipline. But a lot of black women don't do that. They'll just they'll start to let these young men to just run all over them. And sadly, I've seen this in a lot of young men. And honestly, even if it's not the mothers that's enabling them, it could be the grandmothers, okay? A lot of times they can just call their grandmother, hey, can I get $50, grandma? Da-da-da-da. Can I come over? Can I sleep at your house tonight? My mom tripping. Da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? So they have another black woman to go to that's enabling them. You also see these excuses play out when they're getting in trouble, especially when they get to those adolescent years, and they start to get a little more, conscious, like they're a little more aware about their decisions. Like, certain shit you just ain't supposed to be doing, but you're doing it, you start to see that play out a little bit worse as well in young men. Though it may have been unfair, because what she was saying was that Wallow didn't even finish the program or something like that. Like, she really shouldn't have had to pay it. But what she was ignoring was Wallow was still the cause of that. And she said that they had to garnish her checks and all this. I'm thinking, well, why the hell Wallow ain't, you should have made Wallow ass go get a job and help you pay that shit off. You know what I'm saying? If not the whole thing, at least half, at least something, a couple $100 on that motherfucker, because it was still down to his decisions that made this happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have a fucked up, but we ain't gonna ignore the system of white supremacy and the things, the places they might have put him through that, you know, wrapped him up in the system, and you know they knew the end result was her having to pay all these bills and shit like that, and didn't tell her. We can still acknowledge that, but also acknowledge the fact that he was still making some fucked up decisions that got him in this position in the first place. As a man especially, he should be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? You have to teach that to especially young black men early. You know, it's sad, and it adultizes them early, and it's sad that we have to do that, but it's a necessity in America as a young black man to have to understand your actions, understand the consequences of your actions. And that's something on the flip side with the enforcer that Gillie's mother that you kind of see a little more. Like Gillie even brings up that he used to get kicked out a lot. And yeah, they making a joke of it, it's kind of funny. But within that, you can already tell that his mother was a little more harder on him. You know what I'm saying? Held him a bit more accountable than Wallow's mother. And although that may have been holding Gillie more accountable, it was also a little harsher. You know what I'm saying? Like, that also is a harder lesson to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because you were talking about, I think the first time Gillie said he got kicked out was 12. You know? So you talking about a young boy, you know, at this point. And yeah, he went to like an aunt's house or something like that, but that's still a lot. He stayed there for a few weeks. That's still a lot on a young man. Also taught him as a man, you know, that self-reliance, you know, self-accountability, self-responsibility. You know what I'm saying? That regardless, if anybody gonna do nothing for you, you gotta do something for you. You know what I'm saying? That's something he probably had to learn early on because his mother made him do made him responsible for certain things. As a matter of fact, he even mentioned again when he was like 9, he would have to take his sister to school, drop his sister. They would both have to ride the bus or the train, I think, to school like across town. But he would have to drop his little sister off. She was only 6. And mind you, he's a 9-year-old, you know, going and taking the buses and trains across damn Philly, okay, which wasn't the best neighborhood at the time, okay, when he was growing up, you know, across the city to go to school, and then had to come back and do the same thing, you know, and that was an everyday thing. So even in that was responsibility as a young man. He had to protect his sister at even a young age at 9. The more obvious things that I noticed as well is that, you know, this is cursing. Speaking down on your children, on your sons more specifically. Like, damn, that's how you talk to your child? That's how you talk to your son? That's very emasculating for a young boy to hear his mother talk to him like that as a man, especially as you get older. You know what I'm saying? When you get into those adolescent years, again, you know, you're going to really come into that problem because now he's seeing again, like, now I'm a man. Like, he can't talk to me any type of way. Now I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a man, especially if he out here, he was in the streets getting it, making money on his own and shit like that. He's like, I'm a man. How the fuck you going to talk to me like that any type of way? You know, so you're going to get that. You're going to see that play out again in the adolescent years, a little bit worse, but you have to start from a young age. You know what I'm saying? You have to instill that from a young age that a woman should not talk to a man, no matter what age, like that. That's not appropriate. And a lot of times, these same young men who grow up with mothers like this, who talk to them like this in this nature, and it's a regular thing, a lot of times they attract women who are just like that, or they attract women that are the complete opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they might date outside their race, you know, or date outside their culture, or, you know, just that the woman that they attracted they might be completely different from him. Maybe if he was on the street, she's from the suburbs. She's had a nice home, nice upbringing, whatever the case may be. And because it's like he has a bit of resentment towards women who reflect his mother. He heard with Wallow's mom, you know, it was kind of a joke, but Wallow talked about how he would come home and, you know, he started to learn all the tricks of his mother whooping him. Within that, you start to see, like, subconsciously, he was taking it less seriously, you know, because she wasn't really holding him accountable, because she wasn't really letting him feel the consequences of his actions. He was taking advantage of it. Whereas on the other side, which also can be unhealthy or toxic, you know, is being too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gillie's mom is like has a real masculine energy. All right, she like, yeah, nigga, motherfucker, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can imagine if she was less aware, which she probably was when she was younger, how she was talking to her son. He even says, as a matter of fact, he had a stepfather, and she didn't let the stepfather discipline him. A bit of fear you start to have for women or your mother. You know what I'm saying? Subconsciously, all women, but because of it's coming directly from your mother, you start to have almost a fear, you know, for that masculine, especially black women, you know, and it not only a fear, but also a bit of hatred, you know, that also breeds in, I'm not saying with Gillie specifically again, or Wallo specifically, but in black men, generally there is a bit of hatred or fear that breeds with their mother, for their mother. Of course, you see that play out in red pill content. You go deep down in the red pill rabbit hole. You will start getting a little, okay, even I gotta stop. All right, y'all doing a little too much for me. We hold a black woman accountable, but damn, y'all going in. Okay, this is like, you hurt, bruh. It's also understandable because we have hurt them. You know, we have emasculated them. We have put fear in them of us, trying to make it respect because we're not men. And it's kind of sad. Even Gillie brought up that when he was shot one time, that he told someone, like he was telling people, and he told them not to tell his mother. Like, specifically. And it's like, damn, you get shot, you could be about to die. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it may have not been fatal, but nigga, you get shot, that's extreme. Like, and the one person you saying not to call is your mom, there's a problem there. You know what I'm saying? The first person, you know what I'm saying? If not your wife, should be your mother, to be honest. If we being real, if it's not your wife, it will be your mother that you will want to let know is that you're hurt. You know what I'm saying? That you will want comfort from. All those years we're trying to instill into our young boys that we want respect. You know, we're trying to be hard on them, be harsh, be cold, you know, be less sympathetic, be less nurturing, be less caring to our boys just to make them more manly or respect us. You know, it turns out that they end up being older and then it goes into fear and resentment. You know, like, you shouldn't want that for your child. You should want your child to, of course, respect you, but to fear you. You should never want that, especially as a woman and a man. You should never want that for your man, your son, to have that that inferiority complex of women, you know, because he is superior as a man, and he should know that at a young age. I don't know these men life stories and shit like that and everything. It was only an hour interview with them. That was my first time even seeing their mothers, but just from this you can tell, like, you know, everything is relevant. All right, so like I said, with Wallo having the enabler and Gillie having the enforcer, you can see even with their life paths, Wallo ends up in jail. Gillie ends up getting signed, being a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Just for them both to, at the end up back together, you know what I'm saying, as successful entrepreneur black men. You know what I'm saying? Mentors at that. You know what I'm saying? Really out here, not only just bettering themselves, but trying to better other black men. Trying to actually spend some game, $1 million worth of game, and give it to other black men. You know what I'm saying? So that's respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, that's why I said this is not to come for their mothers, because, hey, look, they did something right. They ended up with it. Hey, look, shout out to them. But at the end of the day, we do have to recognize these patterns, recognize these generational curses, recognize that we all got the same damn problems. We all got the same problems, okay? So as soon as we start recognizing that, we start talking about that, the better we can start fixing, healing, and correcting. Do you hear me? All right. Other than that, let me know what you think in the comments. Did you have an enabler or an enforcer as a mother? What are some other toxic or masculine traits that you see within black mothers? And do you think this is just a single black mother thing? Because again, both of these mothers were, although Gillie did have a stepfather and his father came in later, you know, there was a period of time where she was doing shit by herself, and even when she had a man, he did emphasize she was doing that motherfucker. All right. So let me know again what you think in the comments. Other than that, that's all I got. All right, y'all.
We do not play, but I green. You fuck with the team. Might find your West in the